Hello, welcome to the Monroe Community Power Clean Energy Choices electricity supply presentation for the towns of Rush and Henrietta. My name is Shannon. I'm with Rocktricity. We are partnered with Jewel Community Power to bring CCA renewable energy programs to the Genesee Finger Lakes region of upstate New York. Monroe Community Power has existing programs in the following municipalities: the town of Irondequoit, the town of Brighton, the town of Pittsford, the village of Pittsford, and now introducing the town of Henrietta and the town of Rush. The towns of Henrietta and Rush are planning to join the Monroe Community Power CCA program, so that's what we'll be discussing today. In this presentation, we'll talk about what community choice aggregation is, what the benefits are, the role of the utility and how your electricity bill changes, how CCA impacts you, next steps for your community, and frequently asked questions regarding the program. So first, what is community choice aggregation, or CCA? CCA is an energy purchase program that was authorized by the New York State Public Service Commission in April 2016 to help meet New York State's clean energy goals. This program allows municipalities to aggregate energy demand and negotiate bulk purchase for eligible residents and small businesses. So what it does is it shifts the selection of the default supplier from the state or the utility to your municipality, so to the town of Rush and to the town of Henrietta. This program becomes the new default choice for electricity supply for residents. So just like when you created your National Grid or RG&E account, you were placed into their default supply program with a variable rate and partially fossil fueled product, you'd now be placed into the communities program, which offers a competitive fixed rate for New York State renewable electricity. So that's what this program changes. So as the new default electricity supply, most residents and small businesses are eligible to participate. As the new default, those who are eligible are automatically enrolled into the program, just like you were into the utilities default. It's important to note, however, that anyone can opt out at any time. This is simply another option that residents have when purchasing electricity. So to get a little bit more into this, let's start by looking at your bill. So first we'll talk about the RG&E electricity bill. So here's an example bill. This is page 5 of the bill, the detailed account activity section. So first on this page, you see a table that includes your meter information. So we're going to be looking at the billed usage toward the right, which is 355 kilowatt hours. So that's how much electricity this customer used in 1 month. Underneath that, you have the delivery charges. So these are the charges to be an RG&E customer. You see a lot of different charges under there. They're all for different things, but essentially these charges go to supporting RG&E's operations. So this includes maintaining the grid, responding to emergency outages, billing, customer service, things like that. These charges are always on your bill and do not change with the program. What does change is the supply charge. So underneath the delivery charge, you see the electricity supply charges. This is what you're charged for the actual per kilowatt rate of the electricity that you use. So your electricity supply costs. So looking at this with RG&E, you have a variable supply charge. And you can see that they take your usage, that 355 kilowatt hours, and then multiply it by their variable electricity supply rate to get your overall electricity charge for that month. So this changes with the CCA program. So instead of having the variable supply charge from RG&E, this whole section is actually removed from RG&E's section and is instead moved to page 6 or 7, depending on your bill, and comes from the selected supplier for the community. So the variable supply charge becomes a fixed rate charge. So the rate after your usage is going to be the same every single month once the program launches. So you can go into each month knowing the rate at which you're paying for electricity. Additionally, these two charges here, the merchant function charges, Those are the charges that RG&E passes to you to get a supplier on your behalf. So because you have not selected a supplier, you're charged these small charges for them to find one for you. So with the community program, if a supplier is already selected, these charges go away and you're left with a single line item that represents your electricity supply charge. So again, this section goes away and is moved to a later part of the bill, has a fixed rate and the new supplier listed. So it's important to note that this is not an additional charge. This is a substitution charge, as this section is removed from RG&E's section. Okay, so the same is true for your national grid electricity bill. So at the top, you can see your meter read information. And then below that, you can see your delivery charges, again, just for being a national grid customer to support their operations. And then next, you see your supply charges. So here in this example, you can see that the supplier is listed as National Grid, so that's the default. You have your electricity supply charge, the merchant function charge, which is again, the charge they pass on to you for finding a supplier for you. And then in this case, National Grid has ESRM, which is just an adjustment for their rates each month. So again, with this program, this section changes. It becomes a single line item for your electricity supply. The rate at which you're paying for electricity becomes fixed, and the new supplier would be listed there instead of National Grid listed as the supplier. So those are the only changes to your electricity bill. It's just the fixed rate electricity supply and the new supplier. Okay, so talking about electricity supply, again, this program provides a fixed rate for your per kilowatt hour rate for electricity supply. So let's think about that for a second. Looking at this table or this graph over here at the right, you can see the red dotted line represents the market rate and the green line represents the CCA Community Choice Aggregation Program. So as the market rate fluctuates up and down depending on the market, that's how your electricity charges fluctuate. So as the rate changes, your bill changes. However, with the CCA, you have a fixed rate, meaning you know each month what rate you're paying for electricity supply every single month, even before you get your bill. Additionally, this program also provides the option for New York State renewable generation. So many of our programs choose to go forward with renewable electricity that's sourced from right here in New York State. So that's another difference, as most utilities in New York are mixed or part renewable, part fossil fuel. So what are the benefits of CCA? So first, it helps accelerate the transition to renewable energy. It offers competitive fixed rates through a bulk purchasing program. It offers strong consumer protection, and it offers more choice for consumers. So this is just another choice you have for your electricity supply. So getting a little bit more into those, first of all, it enables the local selection of a default supplier. So this is just giving the town of Rush and the town of Henrietta the option to find a better provider or supplier that's best for your community. So it's just trying to give you back a little bit more control over what you purchase day to day. Additionally, it allows bulk buying strategy through the aggregation. So going together as a town to find an electricity supply contract that best fits your community, you'll get better rates as a community than you would if you were an individual trying to set up an electricity supply contract with a different provider. So think about it as buying in bulk or buying multiple things together. Typically, you're able to get a better discount the more people you go in with. That's true for electricity as well. So by having it through the town, the rates you would receive are better than if you just wanted renewable energy on your own. Additionally, it also helps to eliminate price volatility through long-term fixed rate contracts. So our contracts are typically 1, 2, or 3 years. And this offers a benefit over that variable electricity supply rate that you most likely currently pay through the utility. So you know going in what the rate is going to be, what rate you're being charged for your electricity supply, and never have to guess if your bill or your electricity supply side of the bill is going up or down. Next, it helps accelerate the transition to renewable energy. So again, many of our programs use 100% renewable New York State generated electricity. So you can support this cause just by simply participating in the program and continuing to pay your electricity bill. That's as easy as that. And then finally, customer protection through partnership oversight. So again, this program offers a benefit versus those trying to go out individually and find electricity supply contracts. So instead of you having to go through reading the fine prints of the contract, worrying about teaser rates, things like that, in this case, the town, Jewel Community Power, and the state are all overseeing these programs. So you have a little bit more protection there. You also have the Monroe Community Power team, who is available every week to help assist you with any questions, concerns, or offer education regarding your bills. So again, there's also no individual contracts, no background checks, no exit fees or entrance fees, and no additional charges at any time. Okay, so what about the role of the utility? So with CCA, National Grid or RG&E, your utility, continues to deliver electricity, repair and maintain lines, and bill customers. So everything that you currently use your utility for, whether it's you have a meter issue, you have some questions or concerns about your bill, your power goes out, anything like that, you continue to use your utility for that. They're still there for you. It is simply just a little supplier change, so your relationship with the utility does not change whatsoever. Next, how will CCA impact me? So importantly, generally, customers are enrolled on an opt-out basis. So as this is the new default, this is what everyone's automatically in as long as they're eligible. There is a small group of people, however, who are not automatically included, and those include customers who are already contracted with a third-party supplier. So if you've already made a selection for a supplier, then this program does not impact you. Those decisions will be honored. Next, customers that are billed based on demand, or those who use a large amount of electricity. Those are also not automatically included, mostly because most of these customers already have some sort of agreement figured out that best works for their electricity usage. Next, customers that have a freeze or a block on their utility account. So those are not automatically enrolled. And then home energy assistance program recipients or HEAP recipients, those are also not automatically included. But everyone else is automatically included to enroll unless they take action before the program begins. So we will have opportunities to change your enrollment or opt out of the program before it ever even begins. But if you take no action, you will just become part of the new default and join the community in this new program. Okay, so what are the next steps? So first, if the town of Rush and the town of Henrietta are able to find favorable electricity supply contracts that are good for the community, then the next thing we'll do is we'll send out welcome and opt-out letters to all eligible residents and small businesses in the fall of 2022. So these letters would come from Monroe Community Power and the town, so either the town of Rush or the town of Henrietta, depending on where you live, and we'll give you program information such as the electricity supply rate, the percent renewable, any options you have with your enrollment, ways to opt out, as well as more details about the program, such as an overview like we did today, and commonly some frequently asked questions as well. So those will include multiple ways of how to opt out as well, including our contact information, a website form you can fill out, or a reply card that you can send back to quickly let us know if you'd like to change your enrollment or opt out. So that opt-out period lasts for 30 days after the letters are sent out. So that'll be in the late fall, early winter 2022. So that gives you 30 days before the program ever launches to let us know if you want something changed or if you'd like to be removed. But even if you miss that window, you can still opt out at any time at no cost. It is just slightly easier if you opt out before the program begins. So next, the selected supplier becomes the new default for all who are eligible within the municipality. So if you received that letter and chose not to change your enrollment or leave the program, then after that, the new supplier just becomes your supplier, and that becomes the new default for all those in the community. And then finally, the new fixed rate for electricity supply, that new program rate on your electricity bill will show up after your first meter read in January 2023. And so that'll also have the new supplier listed on your bill. And again, you continue to pay your electricity bills as normal to the utility. There's not a second bill or anything like that. You just pay your bills as normal, and that is the only change. We will also have some additional program meetings or public information sessions coming up once we have those contracts in place, so we can tell you a little bit more about the rates, about the percent renewable, and remind you again about the impacts to your bill and the options that you have, whether you want to stay in the program, change your enrollment, or opt out of the program. Okay, so now let's get into some frequently asked questions. So first is, does this program replace my utility company? And the answer to that is no. You can continue to pay your utility bill with that one electricity supply single line item change, and your utility remains responsible for delivery and maintenance of the electrical grid. So like we said before, National Grid or RG&E, those do not change at all. You continue to use them as you would right now. The only thing that's changing is where your electricity supply is coming from. Next, does this impact the reliability of my electricity? And the answer to that is no. Your utility continues to deliver you electricity and provides the same service whether or not you're participating in the program. So don't worry, you will have continued service. You will never experience any outage or loss of service as a result of this program. You will continue to receive continuous electricity and can still call your utility for any questions, concerns, or problems that you have. Are there guaranteed savings? So no, there's not a guaranteed savings with this program because, as we said, the current default for the utility is a variable rate, meaning it changes each month. So we cannot assure that our fixed rate is always going to be lower than the utilities, but there are ways to help find savings through the fixed rate. So when the town and Monroe Community Power goes out to find a contract with an electricity supplier, they'll sit down and have some decisions regarding what their focus is. So whether that's trying to get the most affordable rate, focusing on renewable electricity supply, overall, they'll just try to find the best contract that's available for your community. So many of our communities do save money through the fixed rates most months, but that is not the focus of the program, and it is not a guaranteed savings program. Next, what if I want to change my supply choice? So once the program launches, you can call us at the helpline, or you can fill out our enrollment change form on our website to change your supply selection, opt out, or opt back into the program with no fees or penalties. So you can change your enrollment at any time. You can opt out or opt back in. But do note, once the program launches, it does typically take the utility about 1 to 2 billing cycles to get those changed over on your account. So it doesn't happen instantly, but we can do it at any time. Next, do I have to stay in the program the entire time? And no, you can opt out or opt back in at any time during the length of the contract, and there's never any fees or penalties. So it is completely your choice. Next, can I participate if I have my own solar panels or if I participate in community solar? So this is a great question, and the answer is yes. So even if you use solar or have on-site solar or use a community solar farm, you're still required to have a supplier listed on your electricity bill, just in case there's a month or day when the electricity that's generated from the solar doesn't cover all of your usage. So in this case, you would still be enrolled into the program, but you would still utilize your solar power. So they work separately on the bill, and you can do both, and there's no issue with that. You're more than welcome to participate in both. Next, what happens after the program ends? So like I said, our contracts are typically 1, 2, or 3 years. And so we'll let you know in those opt-out letters the duration of the program and how long it's available for. But when those contracts end, your municipality, so the town of Rush or the town of Henrietta, may choose to go out to bid again for another supply contract. And if that's the case, then we will do another opt-out period where we let everyone know that the program is ending, tell them about the new contract, the new supplier, the new rates, and let them know of their options to stay in the program, change their enrollment, or opt out. But if for some reason they go out to bid again and there's no good options, or there's nothing good in the market at that time, then you'll just be automatically switched back to the utility default supply. So most likely what you're on right now. And again, we would also notify you of when that's happening and what to expect then. Okay, well, this has been the Monroe Community Power presentation for the towns of Rush and Henrietta's new CCA programs. Feel free to contact our team, the Monroe Community Power team. We can be reached at 585-244-0244, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Or you can email us at info@monroecommunitypower.com, and that's the @ symbol. You can also visit our website at monroecommunitypower.com. We have lots of information about our electricity supply programs, as well as the enrollment change form. We also have any press, so any newspapers, articles, journals that have been published regarding these programs, as well as upcoming events and frequently asked questions. So there's lots of resources there as well. Additionally, you can also follow us on Facebook or Instagram, Monroe Community Power. That's where we host program updates as well as upcoming events and in-person meetings. So again, this has been the overall presentation. We will have additional presentations once we have more information regarding the specific electricity supply contracts and the program offerings. But in the meantime, feel free to check out our website and our social media to stay up to date on the program and know what to expect next. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.